now immobilized.
Yeah.
Now there's, of course, I can go into all the enzymes that are involved and the hormone-dependent lipase, etc. But the bottom line is when insulin levels come down, now your fat pads are available for metabolism. And I found that the fats just started coming off the patients. And when I would look at these patients who would do the fasting program, I'd look at them and they look great. It's not like their faces are all, the excess of skin hanging off, or they have skin hanging off their arms. No. Fasting patients seemed to lose weight in a more beautiful way. They were actually losing fat, but they were also losing the right amount of skin as well. Because, you see, prior to this, I used to tell patients, okay, you're going to cut your calories to only 850 calories a day. And you're going to have 4 meals a day. Each one is going to be this much. And the patients would come back. Sure, they lost some weight. They would lose a lot, actually, sometimes. But they would look terrible. They would look absolutely terrible. Their faces, their skin, and plus they were miserable because they just they didn't feel good eating small amounts of food frequently. This advice that we gave patients previously, that, hey, cut your calories down by eating 4 small meals a day or nibble throughout the day. Totally wrong in clinical experience. They lost temporary weight. They all will put it back on again. Did it for years. I did it for 15 years and I was sick and tired of it. They would come back miserable saying, Doc, my life's miserable. I only eat this much and I just feel terrible. I'm hungry all the time. And I look at them, they surely even look miserable. And their skin was just... So when patients were fasting, they would come back and they were laughing. They were so happy. The mood was better. And I said, well, why is this guy's mood so good? He hasn't eaten for 2 days now. And he says, Doc, my mood is better than it ever was before. I'm sleeping better as well. And he empowered himself. I said, no, wait, this is psychological. He's just, he was able to do it, so he's feeling good about himself. He says, no, Doc, I do feel good that I was able to do it. And I'm self-empowered, but also they felt better. And then, of course, as I do the research, I see that there are many substances that are produced during fasting. And one of them is BDNF, which is a big word for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And what that really basically means is, look, when you are fasting, does nature want you to just crawl into your cave and fall asleep and just die? No, nature wants you to go out there, find your kill or your prey or your find your berries or something. So it actually makes your brain more alert, rejuvenates your brain. And you actually, now there's data to show that you can actually grow new cells as well in prolonged fasting. So what happens is that you actually become more wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. And that's what I saw with the patients too. That they were so happy when they walked into my office. You're walking to a cardiologist's office laughing and joking. This is fantastic. And then I found that their energy levels, they just not only felt better mentally and their mood was better, but they said that they moved around better. So I said, what does that mean? They said, well, look, my aches and pains went away. I said, come on. I said, yes, I only lost 15 pounds so far, but my joint pains are all gone. No, wait a second. Why is that? Why did the joint pains go away? You don't take off that much weight to take them off your knee. Well, there's inflammation. And I found that inflammation went down in these patients. So I said, okay, so how do I measure inflammation? So I looked at the CRP levels on these patients. And I found that the CRP is a blood test. And your audience would know that it's a test that we do to look for inflammation, microinflammation in your blood vessels. And I found that they were coming down. Now, you know how hard it was for me to bring these inflammatory markers down? We give patients statins, and that does bring down CRP. But I found that these patients who are fasting, the CRP levels came down. And perhaps a lot of the inflammation in the joints was getting better because the inflammation went down. So I said, okay, that's fine. What else are you feeling? He said, well, you know what? My stomach feels good too. So wait a second. Come on, guys. You're fasting, and how can this be happening to you? He said, yeah, less bloating. My bowel movements are better. I'm not getting so gassy, and I don't get that fatigue after eating. I just feel so down. Of course, they're not eating, but when they do eat after the meal, they feel so much better. So they are eating after when they break the fast, but they're feeling better. Their guts are better, their joints are better, their minds are better. I just said, oh God, this is crazy. This is crazy. So that's what really I got so excited about fasting, as you can tell. It is an amazing journey.
Yeah, it's what's incredible